What do you do as a sort of business now? I mean, how would you describe it, and how does it sort of operate?
Okay, so you give up your corporate job and you're like, okay, what do I do? So the first thing I did was I had been working as a teacher, a part-time adjunct instructor in Wisconsin. So I went to the community college and I said, hello, here I am. And so lovely people that they are, they hired me and I worked there for 4 years, and that was one of my business card jobs. I also went to school to become a hypnotherapist, and I specialized as a transpersonal hypnotherapist. There are many different hypnotists in the area, and people are very good, and there's a whole range of hypnotherapists. Most people, when they hear of hypnotists, they think of two things. They think of stage hypnotists who are doing entertainment and making people act all goofy, and they also think about people who are there to help them quit smoking or lose weight. I'm specialized in taking people much deeper than that. I actually go into the subconscious very deep. We do things that are timeline therapy, where we go back in time to root causes of where there's some blocks or the emptiness that I described, so that people can understand their soul purpose, so that they can feel what it feels like to connect fully with their higher self and be able to live in balance and on purpose. And I've always been intuitive ever since I was little, and so when I began this path and began working with people on this, some amazing things started to happen. I'd be working with clients, as you mentioned, at that time we had a place in Columbia Falls before our house was built, and I'd be looking at the clients as they're deep in a meditative, hypnotic state, and all of a sudden their body would disappear. I would no longer see their body. All I saw was the windows of the eyes to the soul. I mean, the eyes. That's it. Everything else would disappear. And then all of a sudden I would start feeling loved ones and angels and spirit guides coming in, and I was like, whoa, what's happening? And that was the start of how I knew that I was to go much, much deeper than the average hypnotherapist.
So, saying that, when I ran into you earlier, you were also doing part of this, but you were calling it regression hypnotism.
Yes.
So you were basically looking at past lives.
Yes.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about that too, then?
Okay. So it's just like any career, you know, you get started and you kind of play around with a bunch of different things. There's lots of different specialties, as I mentioned, with hypnotherapy. And so I was, you know, do you want to learn how to quit smoking? You know, do you want to learn how to lose weight? I started with all of those. And then we also were trained on past life regressions. And so I worked with several people on that. And that's when the amazing experiences started to occur. That's when people literally, I could feel their soul and their spirit leave their body, and they were traveling to other lifetimes. Whether you believe in the fact that you reincarnate and take another body or not is completely, it doesn't matter. Everything is energy. What matters the most is that you gain something from the experience, and that you understand very deeply what's happening inside of you and why it may be happening. So that was one arm or one branch, and from there it just really spun off to, let's have a conversation with your guardian angel, let's have a conversation and meet your spirit guide, let's have a conversation and find out why it is that at night, you know, you're hearing voices. Oh, it turns out it's your grandma, you know, and she has a message for you.
So in there, you basically have intuition as a big part of this.
Yes.
So when you bring that up to clients, or they bring up that they have a feeling about intuition,
yes,
then you go into that with them.
Yeah, and you know, you have some really amazing people on Open Door, and I always let people know what my limitations are. If they're wanting to have a direct conversation with grandma and they want to know immediately what grandma has to say, I refer them then to a professional medium, to a clairvoyant or someone like that. If they're looking for me to predict their future, or, you know, tell me where I'm going on my path, and they want me to tell them, that's where a psychic comes in. I'm neither of those. I help you have your own experience. So we go deep into meditation. You then learn how to relax, how to have the full connection with your higher self. Once you're connected with your higher self, your intuition turns on. You trust yourself, and then once you trust yourself, you can go into the higher realms.
Michelle, are you able to work both physically one-on-one and also remote?
That's an awesome question. Most of my clients, because everything is energy, most of my clients are remote. So 98% of my clients are worldwide. I work with clients as long as they know English and they can understand terms like subconscious mind and hypnotherapy and things that I might be using in conversation. As long as they know those words and they're fluent in English, I have no problem. So I've worked with clients from India to Sweden to Mexico to Spain. I mean, you just name it. I've been able to work with them, and most of them are done virtually and done over the telephone. So.
Great. Okay, and I guess a last point would be, how do you view the community, and what do you think of the community as we grow?
You know, if it hadn't been for the community, I would have never discovered who I am. You know, it was people in the community that came forward and said, hey, I'll play with you, you know. The community is awesome. They are some of the most friendly people that I have ever met. They'll wave to you, they say hello to you. When they ask you, how are you, they really mean it. In the bigger cities, you know, people are like, hey, how you doing? And they don't really care, you know, nor do they have time to listen to your answer. But here, people really care, and you get genuine hugs and authenticity way beyond anything that I've ever experienced before. And my mom and my dad always say to me, you know, when are you coming home? Because being from the Midwest and being from Wisconsin, and I say, I am home. You know, the mountains are my home. I am home. So.
Right. You can reach Michelle on her profile on Open Door and also on the connection to her website. So thank you very much, Michelle, and have a great day.
Thank you. Namaste.